What causes flickering under cabinet lights?
Hello. My name is XXXXXXXXXX. I will be happy to assist you with your electrical question. My goal is to exceed your expectations on JustAnswer. 1. Flickering of lights is caused by a loose hot wire connection. The problem can reside anywhere along the circuit path but is most common inside a wall receptacle box. Faulty splices or wire terminations are the typical cause. 2. Dimming of lights is caused by a loose neutral wire connection. The problem can reside anywhere along the circuit path but is most common inside a wall receptacle box. Faulty splices or wire terminations are the typical cause. Hope this helps. If you have any additional questions, let me know and I'll be glad to answer them for you. Otherwise, don't forget to rate me before you log off. The next time you have an electrical question, you can also request for me at http://www.justanswer.com/home-improvement/expert your electrician. Thanks. Kevin.
There are 4 different set of light fixtures under 4 different set of cabinets, but there is only one light fixture that has the flickering lights and have low light output. I replaced all the bulbs with new bulbs and the symptoms are the same.
1. Low light output is different than flickering and is typically caused by a voltage drop due to the distance of the wire or insufficient voltage. Is the light flickering or just not as bright as the others? 2. Are the cab lights controlled by a plug-in transformer? 3. Is this a recent problem and the cab lights have worked properly before this? Kevin 41699.05724048861.
Kevin, it is a combination of flickering and very low light output. 3 of the light fixtures are controlled by one light switch and one fixture is controlled by its own light switch. The faulty fixture is on the same switch as 2 other ones that are working properly. I see no plug-in transformer. It is a recent problem I noticed after a power outage.
Thank you for the confirmation. 1. There are a couple of versions of under-cabinet lighting. You will need to determine which kind you have. One common type of under-cab lighting system uses a transformer that plugs into a wall receptacle and the wall switch is wired to the receptacle to turn the lights on/off. Often, the plug-in transformer is located inside the higher cabinet or sometimes in an attic above or a basement below. If a low output, sometimes the plug-in transformer is faulty and is not sending out the proper voltage. In this type of installation, it is common that each light has its own wires home run back to a common splice box. Or the wires can be run parallel and daisy-chained from the previous light. Really depends on how the lights were installed. 2. The other type of under-cabinet lighting is a hardwired connection and does not use a transformer, but is directly plugged into a wall receptacle or is hardwired to a switch. If a wall receptacle version, this will also be controlled by the wall switch. 3. In order to troubleshoot the problem, you will need to determine if the lights are powered by a lower voltage transformer or via a regular 120 volt connection. A digital voltmeter would be necessary to confirm the voltage measurements and compare the voltage at the weak light to voltage at the proper working lights. 4. Also a possibility is that the socket connection came loose or a loose wire at the socket.
We had a power outage. Could that have had something to do with it? I will check the voltage at the working and flickering lights. There is no transformer that I can see. I strongly believe everything is hardwired to the switch on the wall. When I trip the switch at the electrical panel, all the UC lights go out, but this one fixture flickers and has low light output. He switch.
1. Anything is possible due to a power outage. If the lights are controlled via a plug-in transformer, it is always possible that a power surge occurred upon re-establishing commercial power and may have damaged if using a plug-in transformer. 2. If the lights are hardwired directly to a 120-volt wall switch, doubt that the power outage had anything to do with the problem. 3. You mentioned that you trip the switch at the electrical panel and the upper lights go out but the remaining light remains on. Sounds like all of the lights do not reside on the same circuit breaker, otherwise they would all go off when turning the circuit breaker off.
When I trip the switch at the electrical box that controls the under cabinet lights, all the under cabinet lights go out. All of the under cabinet lights are on the same circuit breaker along with some other lights that are working normally. I personally think the under cabinet lights are daisy chained.
1. You are probably correct on the daisy chained, as that is the most common method. Although I have seen installs where the wires were home run to each light fixture from one common splice box. 2. Just by a visual indication on the routing of the wires, you should be able to visually determine how the wires were installed. The wiring harness will either be installed and stapled inside the upper cabinets or they will be stapled on the underside of the lower cabinets. Some fixtures do not contain splices as the wire harness is pre-manufactured into each light. Other types use a manufactured supplied splice that pinch the wires. Other types of fixtures use traditional wire nut splices. There are various versions that a manufacturer could have used. I've seen them all. 3. My first suspicion would be the light bulb socket or a faulty connection, splice, etc. I would still recommend to take a voltage measurement and compare against a proper working light. Kevin 41699.0972438079. Thank you for the positive service rating as well as the bonus. Much appreciated. If you have any other questions or need any assistance when measuring voltage, etc., just reply back to me at this same question and I'll be more than happy to assist you. No need to create another question, just come back to this one. Take care and have a great weekend. Thanks. Kevin. Kevin 41699.10098288472.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert, now visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.